Have you seen the shocking revelation regarding Caitlin Clark made by Staley? Yes, it seems that even people in authority are realizing that leaving this was a mistake. A monster from the Olympics.
Caitlin is just a rookie in the WNBA. Wasn't playing bad, but wasn't playing like she's playing now. Do it all over again, the way that she's playing, she will be in really high consideration of making the team because...
That's what I refer to as declaring the seeming right. That's the rationale for our analysis of this claim, because there is much more to it than first glances at who's Staley. For the record, she is not insignificant in basketball. Staley is an American citizen, selecting committee for the women's squad, and has a solid background as a player and a coach. When someone has her kind of talent, states that if we were to start again from scratch, evidently there's remorse in the air, is essentially a veiled version of myself. Blame Staley for making indiscretions. Look, we made a mistake. Clark is acting out of her thoughts, and we ought to have thought about her more intently. So let's get the core of what she is saying. Playing over many people is more than simply a passing adulation in the professional sports as a diplomatic arena. This is a strong assertion. Staley's essentially acknowledging that Clark worthy of a place, yet she's on another degree in contrast to those who were chosen, and here is when things get fascinating. When making this claim, why mention this? Is the media pressuring fans right now? Or is it Clark's ridiculous WNBA performance? It is forcing everyone to reconsider their options. The Staley statement is the reality. It's more than simply Clark. It's in recognition of the fact that the choice processes sometimes contain defects, that tradition and politics have the potential to eclipse both the present performance and the pure talent. A reminder that, much as in life, at times, we must exercise flexibility and acknowledge our mistakes and move forward. But this assertion creates an intriguing history. If a player such as Clark, a novice, may join the selection committee, reconsider their decisions, this could change the dynamics of subsequent choices. It might allow for greater room for new abilities that it may bring to the table. Performance much outweighed historical data in the finale. Staley's assertion is an acknowledgement of the evident to anybody who follows the WNBA attentively, but it also indicates that perhaps there are changes occurring behind the scenes from women's basketball in America, and people. That's so thrilling because it implies that the sport's future is allowing fresh talent to enter opportunities, which is what we're observing. That Clark came this year, leading almost all significant statistical category points, assists, thefts, and blocks, shooting percent without a free throws, tosses the list aside. She was playing a game with 19 assists and 24 points that surprised NBA players as well. But Clark's influence is much more than just numbers, as she's changing public perception of the WNBA. Do you remember the All-Star game? It was 44 million viewers, a record crowd watchers, and identify who of the major explanations for that. Yes, our girl Caitlin's playing evolution is complete. She arrived to the WNBA from this world, considered a top college basketball player already, but how she changed to fit into the professional, the game is amazing. Clark wasn't simply keep up her playfulness, she reads as if she is an experienced reader. The game giving her chances, acquaintances, and, naturally, earning points like if tomorrow doesn't exist, and perhaps which explains Clark's non-attendance at the Olympic squad, angered fans today, is still provoking more discussion than a championship game. The choice committee, particularly Cheryl Reverend, been the target of a furor of criticism, and it's not for nothing. Let's face it. Examine the data on the group's output. What was said at the WNBA All-Star Game, the least depressing thing, they gave up over 60 points in the paint at this time, brought up important concerns about the player decisions. It's difficult to ignore the committee made a grave error, that we own a player who's changing the meaning of feasible for a rookie in the WNBA. And she's not on the Olympic squad. How would you describe, although some contend that inexperience may play a role, but let's be realistic, Clark's performance on the court exceeds all reservations about experience. She's acting like she's in the WNBA. The most absurd thing about backyard is that this withdrawal from the Olympic squad might ultimately out to be a gift in disguise for Clark. Considers it as the other players are going to exhaust themselves at the Olympics. She'll have time to relax and prepare and return much more formidable for the remainder of the year, who knows. Perhaps we'll see her scoring 30 points in a game, whilst nothing seems impossible to Clark. Clark's statement is quite clear about his age, and expertise are crucial. But talent and perseverance can get over all of that. She is revising the game's rules. And we are fortunate to be able to observing Caitlin's upkeep of than 30 points on average every game. It's worth keeping in mind that there are only 2 players was able to sustain that average, for Diana Taurasi for a full season in 2006 and Liz Cage in 2018. So certainly, let's discuss. Quite an accomplishment, but Clark is more than any player. She's already in the mix. The league's best scorers, and that's as a novice. The most astounding thing is that she doesn't seem to be scared by the degree of competition in the NBA. On the conversely, it seems that she entered enthralled with the match in the first part of season. Clark has shown previously that she can blow up for a very high score. Games that she has previously played surpassing 25 points. But what made Clark to arrive at this ridiculous 30th anniversary points per contest? While there are several elements that may facilitate rest because she declined to attend the Olympics. More time to rest and practice, this might lead to an even more explosive the season's second half, using the she learns more the more she plays. Rhythm of the league envisions when she's completely adjusted group assurance. The Indiana Fever is already aware of this, that they own as superstar hands. It's possible that the transgression will becoming more and more focused on her adaptability. Clark doesn't depend solely on, she uses one kind of play to score. From 3 during the changeover in the paint, this makes things rather challenging for safeguards. Winner's perspective, Clark performs like every game was a championship. This mindset may very likely cause her to stratospheric numerical values. Naturally, it's challenging to score 30 points in a game. Defenses will flex, and they will double up. But if someone can conquer the knowledge that someone is Caitlin, and the most amazing thing of all is that even if she doesn't quite make it to 30, highlights the reality that this is happening. Dialogue already demonstrates the ridiculous effect she's having is what we're discussing. A youngster with the capacity to smash records that, in the end, have been around for years. If a game consists of 25, 28, or 30 points, Clark is making history with what she's reframing our expectations for a novice. What qualities a point guard should possess? We anticipate that women's basketball will be entire, maybe after all that has transpired. The attitude of Cheryl Reeves regarding Caitlin will alter as a result of its striking. Clark victory over the Minnesota is connected to the squad led by Reeves. The coach declined to comment. About the novice performance. People, this is a sporting event comparable to acting as if the sun doesn't exist on a day with 104 degrees. Reeves' mindset raised a lot of eyebrows, and quite correctly, considering that we're discussing one of the league's most captivating players ever seen. Her unwillingness to acknowledge Clark's ability seems to be at least disconnected from the current state of the WNBA encountering. But let's go beyond the surface. Reeves is not simply the coach of the link. She plays for the USA squad as well. The selecting committee could be hesitant about her discussing Clark has to do with a tough choice to let her go. The most ironic thing is the Olympic team is that even though Rev attempts to dismiss the remainder of the room with an elephant in it, the world of basketball is a discussion point. Concerning Clark, there is a current WNBA, a period of remarkable expansion, and a lot of this is because of the excitement created by players such as Clark. Therefore, the query that how much longer can she ignore it? Clark's influence, due of her desire true or not, the novice is evolving into the WNBA's face of a new age, one of increased awareness, increased curiosity, and perhaps higher expansion for the league. Ultimately, Reeves' hesitation to acknowledge that Clark could wind up expressing more about her than what the gamer believes about it. We have a novice who is evolving the league in reverse. Producing veterans and coaches are reconsidering everything they believed they were familiar with. Basketball possess a player that is not only a dominant, not just on the court, but also altering the how society perceives and uses women's basketball. Will we be playing next? View Clark shattering historical records. Can she continue to be this crazy? Throughout the season, rhythm, and what occurs when she really hits her pinnacle, I get goosebumps just thinking about it, and it goes beyond Clark alone. Her influence is providing opportunities for a complete. She is showcasing a new generation of players. That it is feasible to go there and rule from the start, since this will motivate many females have lofty dreams and think they could be the next big stars in the WNBA. You all consider all of this, don't you? Believe Don Staley felt bad about not phoning upward? Don't tell me in the comments. Caitlin, don't forget to join the channel and select the following video.